Hello, it's Amy from Buttercake. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how I did this vintage Lambeth inspired clown cake with cute little homemade clown faces. Super fun. So I got started. I actually made these out of royal icing. I'm using an outline consistency, sort of like skin color. I just used a tiny bit of orange Color Right to get that color. And I'm just doing freehand basic face shapes. These are pretty small. I'd say about the size of a silver dollar. Then filling it in with the same color but in flood consistency. Just so they have a nice little bit of dimension to them. And then I'm taking a scribe tool there and cleaning up the edges just because they're freehand. I didn't pipe the faces super symmetrical. So this helped me fix them just a bit. And while it's still wet, I took some white flood consistency and put in the eyes. And this just gives a nice shape that blends in evenly with the face. Taking my time to make sure they're as even as possible. And then like how clowns have like the bottom part of their face is painted white, like those old the old Wilton clown plastic toppers. If you know, you know. So I made space for that and then took some red flood consistency and made a little mouth shape. Then using the scribe tool, you can just pull the corners out to get a nice smile. You can see on the other ones there, I actually added extra details out on the ends just by doing like a little drop and then pulling it out with the scribe tool. Then adding some white just to kind of give it, again, more detail, make it look a little bit like it has teeth. Super cute. And then I let that dry for about half an hour. Came back in with that same outline consistency skin tone and piped basically like cheeks. So it makes them look like they have big cheeks, like they're really smiling. Give them a lot of character. And then this is firm consistency, like stiff royal icing in red to just pipe on a nose. And I gave it a little dot on the nose for a little extra dimension. Thought that was really cute. Yeah. Cleaning up those edges because that outline consistency doesn't settle down completely right away. So I just wanted to clean up any of the points that might be there. So it gives it a little bit more smoothness. And then you can let those dry completely. I let mine dry overnight. Just give them a couple hours at least before you try to handle them. Or at least if you don't let them dry for 24 hours, don't pick them up before you paint them. Like the outside will be crusted. That's fine. You can paint on them, but you don't want to handle them until they've dried for at least a day. Then I'm using undiluted black gel color to paint eyes on there. I just wanted it to give a really crisp line. So that's why I didn't dilute it with any alcohol or anything like that. You can see me painting all the eyes on here, kind of assembly line fashion. Getting all those going. Oh, they're so cute. And then I also took some red gel color, again, undiluted. And I'm going to add little details above the eyes to kind of give it more character, make it look even more clown-like. Just like that. And you can add more details if you want. Use different colors. If you want to give them blue eyes or add some green on there, you know, however you choose. But I let those dry completely before I was ready to start my cake. Now this cake is a Franken cake. I mean, I had some extra rounds in the freezer and I crumb coated them. But I am using my Swiss meringue buttercream here, which I will link down in the description if you're interested in learning how to use that. You can use whatever buttercream you're comfortable with. But I tinted it orange. And I'm just putting on the final coat, getting it on thick. And then I'm actually using, that tool I'm using there is from Lowe's. That is a spackle tool. I love those. The only thing I will say that if you decide to get something similar to that, make sure that it has like a really crisp corner. Because sometimes they have like plastic guards on the ends where the blade is. So you want to make sure that you can actually get a crisp edge and you're not struggling down at the bottom of your cake there. So smoothing off really nice. And then I put that in the refrigerator to fully set up before I started decorating. Starting here at the bottom, and I am using just a border tip, Wilton 21, piping a shell border upwards the whole way around, just shells beside each other. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take teal color, and that has a Wilton number 2 round tip. And we're doing string work. So I start at the end of one of the shells and then skip the shell to the right of it and do the next one over. And then go back to the one I skipped, attach my string, and then skip again, go 2 over basically, and then you get that look. And you just continue on the whole way around. So you get this nice overlapping string border. Really beautiful detail. I love the way that ends up looking. And you can do larger shells if you like, you know, to get larger drop border or larger string border. Whatever you choose. I just think this is a fun look. You can see I made a little mistake there. So if that happens, just take the tip of your piping tip and attach it to the icing, and it should just peel right off. You don't really have to scrape it. Just ending up my border there, and beautiful. Then we're doing a reverse shell. I did a bright red buttercream, and I am using a Wilton 18 tip to do a small shell border. And basically I'm doing shells at the point of each of the other shell border. That sounds confusing, but you can see what I'm doing there. Yeah, so I'm just adding those rosettes basically at the tip of each of the purple shells to give it that nice detailed look. Then we're going to go with swags. This is a Wilton 104 rose tip, and the narrow end is pointing down, wide end pointing up. And I am just doing like a zigzag motion to get it to overlap. And then I'm just doing it freehand. If you don't feel comfortable with that, use like a cookie cutter to mark out. You can use, just stamp the cookie cutter, half of it, like a round cookie cutter in, and that will give you more even, an even guideline to go along. On top of that, this is just a leaf tip, number 352. And basically the same motion, but I'm lining up the center of the leaf tip right on the top edge of the previous swag. And yeah, just doing this back and forth zigzag motion to give it an extra layer there. And you don't want to bring it all the way to the edge of the purple. You can see that there's a gap in there. And the purpose of that is I'm going to add fleur-de-lis on top. You don't want to build up so much icing because then it gets too heavy and sometimes your decorations can fall off if you're adding too many layers with this technique. Now I'm going back in with that same teal and adding string work right down the center of that leaf border. You can see I made a mistake there. And again, if you just attach the tip of your piping bag to that, it should pull right out. This is in real time, so you can see how slow I go to really let the string settle into that space. It's okay to take your time with it. Now we're going in with another leaf tip, but this is the Wilton number 70. And that's going to create kind of like a nice ruffle along the top edge. You can see I'm doing the same zigzag motion, but I'm holding my piping bag up, almost perpendicular to the top of the cake to get that zigzag, and then you get the ruffles down the edges. Now here's a really nice electric blue, and I used a smaller star tip. That's number 18, Wilton 18. So we're doing a shell, and then reverse shells. Rosette, pull it down, and then just pull it out to the side, basically to give you a nice clean edge on the bottom, just like that. So I'm just putting my piping tip there, applying pressure, and letting it build up on its own for the most part. Stopping pressure as I pull down. Shell, another shell, clean up that bottom edge. Beautiful. Love those. Nice pop of color too. I decided to fill in that big space, and I'm doing the teal this time with the same tip 104 swag. You want to try to line it up as best you can. And again, the narrow end of the tip is facing down, wide end up. And I'm making sure that I stop right where the previous swag ended and not bringing it over too far. Oh, I really love the way this ended up looking with all these colors. So gorgeous. Finishing up there, you can see how I kind of bring it right up to the edge. Boom, done. Looks very, very nice. I love all the colors. Now I'm going in and another reverse shell, but even tighter this time. And that is another Wilton tip 18. Keeping it small. Wanted to add in more of that kind of electric blue. Ending that right there gives an even more gorgeous detail. Now we're going to get started on the clowns. So I am piping perpendicular here, and I am using a tip 199. That is a border tip. Pipe to the base, then pipe the legs, and then we're giving poofs for the arms, basically. And then I kind of stop where the elbow would be to bring the rest of the sleeve out, like that. Go to the other side, do the same thing, kind of let the icing build up, give it a little poof for the upper arm, the bicep, and then the forearm. And I'm also, you can see like a very subtle like zigzagging motion I'm doing just to give it more like a ruffled look. Then this is the 104 teal. Zigzag while I'm turning to give it a collar, like a ruffled collar look. Super cute. Now you can use any of the colors. This is just the star tip that I was using to do that blue reverse shell border. Just a pipe base for the face and hair to sit on. And I recommend trying to pipe that as perpendicular, like as on top, so that your clown doesn't fall backwards and you're not like making it too heavy one way or another. So try to get it as centered over the body as possible. And then using just a grass tip. The grass tip number 233 with some of the leftover orange that I had that I used on the base of the cake to just pipe hair. And this is just like an organic. I'm not doing anything specific. I'm just like adding different hair pattern, and it's a clown, so it's going to be a little bit goofy. Kind of had a lot of fun with that part, adding the hair. Oh, that's a wild hairdo. Nice. And then going back in again with that blue star tip just to add little poofs for feet and hands. There we go. There's a little clown dude. Super cute. Now I had 8 swags on this cake, so I basically put 4 clowns, every other swag, and put them in the center so that their feet would kind of center down through the swag so we're not losing any of our details that we already piped. It ended up working out really nicely, really cute. And I alternated colors. I did a purple clown, red clown, purple clown, red clown. So you can see me doing another clown here, totally, and it'll have a different face. I try to do different faces just to give it even more detail in the cake. I don't know if you guys are real big into like vintage Wilton cakes, but I remember the clown cakes of the 80s, and those were my favorite because they were so colorful, and I just always was obsessed with all of the details and lots of yellow and red and purple, and so cool. And here I am now, many years later, trying to recreate these clown cakes as I remember them. But this was a lot of fun. This is a great project, and definitely definitely something to do if you have some extra time and want to try some new techniques. Highly recommend trying out a style like this. And you guys, I'm over on Instagram too, so if you post any photos, please do tag me. I would love to see what you're working on, or if you tried this, and let me know how it goes, or you can even leave me comments to tell me how your cake decorating journey is going. Oh, there's another cloud. Look at it, so cool. And there it is in all its glory. They all have different hair. All their faces are shaped slightly different. Very, very cool. And then, I was looking at this for too long and decided I wanted to add one more thing. So I went in and added these red dots. Well, actually, I added two more things, but this is just kind of, a nod to the big red clown noses. Filling in more spaces, because that's really the, kind of essence of the Lambeth method, is just adding. Just when you think you have enough piping, you should add more. Because who doesn't love icing? No, not everybody loves that much icing, but I mean, I do personally. But I'm also, kid from the 90s, and we liked lots of sugar and processed things. So do with that what you will. I did different sizes, so basically large, medium, small, working from the ends to the center to give it a little more detail. And then on the top there, I'm just taking a border tip. That's Wilton 199 again, and just adding like a large shell border at the top between the clowns. In retrospect, I should have added this before I put the clowns on, so it had a little more of a clean look. But I also didn't want to, compete with another design element on there trying to fit the clowns on top of a big border like that. But I just thought it gave the cake a little bit more of a finished look on top. I didn't do anything with the center top of the cake. If you're going to do this, you can obviously write in there or put a topper, like a happy birthday topper. But that's it, you guys. Thanks so much for watching. If you hung out this far, I really appreciate you. Please consider subscribing. That helps my channel grow. And yeah, thanks for watching. Have a good one.